Hey, hello everyone. First of all, welcome to the event and thank you for joining for the Women in Tech Day that we have planned for you. Uh, this is Rohini Gaonkar. I have been with AWS for last 6+ years. I've been in multiple roles, but right now I'm a developer advocate. So I'm something like a technical evangelist based out of India for AWS. So if you want to get in touch with me, if you want to connect with me, talk about AWS, talk fun things about women in tech, please reach out to me via Twitter, via LinkedIn. I'm also available on YouTube. I've just recently started, but if you are interested to know more, just reach out to me via these channels. This a Q&A, so if you have a lot of questions, any kind of questions, please feel free to add them into the chat window. I'll try and answer all these questions towards the end. Uh, I'm also available all day on the networking portal. So if you are interested to have any other discussions, I'm happy to do that as well. Just a tip, today almost all the speakers will share their social media handles. So just keep in touch with all of these and we would love to hear from you. We would love to grow together. And with that, let's just get started with our session today, right? So what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about mobile and web app development with no code using Amazon Honeycode, right? And before before everyone starts feeling, hey, why is the first session no code in a Women in Tech Day and me being a developer advocate? Why am I talking about no code, right? The first thing is no code doesn't really mean anti-code, right? There will always be place for developers, programmers, coders, whatever you want to call. There will always be a place for them, and there will always be a need for their expertise, right? We will always want their expertise to create these beautiful applications that we are going to use in our day-to-day lives, right? And most of us have been programmers, right? So we understand the the beauty in creating these applications and being able to serve a wider audience, right? But what about those who don't have a coding background? What about those who want to do a lot more, but why should they, who have not learned coding from maybe the younger years, should stop from creating beautiful applications? They could have entrepreneur aspirations, they could have wanting to create a lot of businesses of their own, and they would want to have these simple applications that they can create without actually hiring a lot of developers and creating them for them. So there are a lot of people who would want to do this. There would also be some people who want to help their own teams, right, to be more productive with whatever work, day-to-day lives of theirs. So there are a lot of these people, right? And we as developers, a lot of times we focus on building the applications that are going to help us generate revenue. But then just give it yourself a thought. There are so many different applications that we use day in and day out in our organizations that help us actually get through the day, right? So there are a lot of these people, like our technical program managers or the HR or the financial advisors, or these people in the big organizations, or if you're from a small organization or you're a small startup who wants to sell a particular product, sell or market a particular product, but you want to also be able to help your team do day-to-day activities. These people are around us, right? And we are also users of some of these tools that we need. Why can't we give them, or for example, like take the pandemic. A lot of companies, right, they were working in office. Everything was in office. Everyone, most of these companies gave them desktops, so everyone was just going to office and working on these desktops, and there was no issue of doing asset management because it was all internal, and the IT team was taking care of it, right? But as the pandemic happened, everyone just went into a lockdown and everyone just had to ship these desktops. Have you seen those videos of you may have a lot of friends who may have actually boxed up the entire desktops and taken them home. uh, Overnight, companies had to come up with applications that could help them do asset management with employees now scattered across the country, right? So there are a lot of these examples where you want to create simple apps that are very quick and can be easily shared with your teams as well, right? Or with as a business as well. So In this talk, we are just going to focus a lot more, like we are going to narrow down our focus to teams. So some of the examples that you would want to work with your teams, and these are just few of the examples. I mean, imagination, you can use your wild imagination and think of lot many use cases and build these. But some of the examples could be like, you need your a leave request, like you hired people and they will need to place their leaves, they need to know what are the leaves that are assigned to them. You could have a time of reporting kind of an app. You could have simple request approvals app, a team task tracker, or a simple to do kind of an app, right? And these apps you can create more customized in a way that you would want for your team to use. So let me give you an example, right? And this is an example that something that actually moved me to think about what can we do to make lives easier of our team members, right? So I was talking to a friend, and he's into application support. So I was talking to this person from a DevOps perspective, like, hey, what does your team do? How does your company have these different teams, and how does the communication flow? And I was talking about a lot of these things, and I came to know about a particular use case which may be a bit better fit for a no code kind of a platform, right? So for example, this person works in a company, and this company does a lot more, like they build applications, they do migrations of applications, they do application support as well, right? And this person is in a team where the application is a bit different. They have to support multiple time zones. So they have like an APAC time zone, they have an EMEA time zone, and they have like 20-25 people in different time zones. They need to rotate people to different shifts, like if there's a day shift, there's an evening shift. So they have to rotate people there, they have to take care of, hey, who's going on leaves, what about weekend support, what about holidays like Diwali or Christmas and stuff like that, which is quite customized to the team, because no one else in the organization has a project like that. Or they may have different kind of requirements, but their requirements were a bit different, right? So what happened is the employees, when they had to put in a leave request, or they wanted to know their upcoming shift, they actually had to go ahead and ask the manager, who was maintaining, our favorite tool is like a spreadsheet, right? So a manager or a team lead was actually sitting there and maintaining the spreadsheet of who's on the shift, and who is the primary, who's going to be the shift next like in the evening, who's going to be in the shift next week, next month, who's going on holiday. So he had all this managed in a spreadsheet. And the team actually had to go and keep asking them again and again, hey, like send an email and ask, hey, what is my leave? Or I want to change my shift, or I need an emergency leave. Who can cover my shift, and so on and so forth, right? So there was a lot of communication that was happening within the team itself, just to manage a simple thing as, managing their roster. So this manager was working for a while. They were there for 8 to 9 months, and as we know, right, the manager changed over time. So when the new manager came in, he was like, hey, I'm not gonna do this over email, I'm just gonna drop this excel spreadsheet into a shared location, and you can just access it from that shared location. You can just see your stuff from that shared location, and I'll just update it, or you guys can go ahead and go ahead and update that. So every persona or every manager that came into that team had a different way of working, and the team of 20 to 25 people had to actually change based on this person's requirement. And they had to again go through a different cycle just to understand this person's comfort zone, and be able to interact in a way that, and this is just one example, right? The management of roster is one example. There are so many other things that the team was doing. They were helping them understand the tasks that they were having. They were like doing handovers. So there were a lot of the admin tasks that the team had to do even before they could actually go ahead and do their daily activities. So the employees, the managers actually went and told the IT team, can you not create a customized solution for us? Like, this is not the IT team that only gives us the laptop, right? There is an IT team in every organization that builds these applications, right? Like, I come from a big org, right? So there will be an employee directory, there'll be like compensation kind of a platform, there'll be time off kind of a platform, right? So in a bigger organization, the IT teams actually take care of creating these different products, or these different solutions that are catered to that organization itself, depending on the scale of the organization, but in a big organization, there's a specific team. But then the IT team kept saying, hey, you know what? I'm building applications for like hundreds and thousands of people. I don't have the staff, I don't have the time or the priority to actually customize a solution that will serve only 20 people, right? Okay, you may say that I can make it reproducible and so on and so forth, but it's going to take a long time. It's going to take at least 6 months on my timeline for me to create these kind of applications. So the team had no solutions there. Then there came leadership, right? The leadership was worried that now, hey, that spreadsheet is now shared with so many people, and it's not just about the time tracking, right? It could also be a roadmap item kind of a spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet is shared with like almost everyone. There is no privilege, there is no confidentiality. What about security? What if someone just emails themselves the spreadsheet and the data is already outside the organization? How am I going to work around this, and how am I going to get more visibility and what is happening within the team itself? So there were a lot of these issues that kept cropping up, and majority of them came with the tool that the team used was spreadsheets, right? Because spreadsheets are not really meant for these things. Spreadsheets are very hard to keep data in sync. So like you have to talk to so many people, someone has to manually keep updating the file and has to keep updating everyone else about the changes that have been happening. There was no personalized experience that the team had. And definitely, like, everyone has a mobile phone today, right? Everyone has things at their fingertip. If I'm on a holiday or if I'm going somewhere else and I need to, intimate my team about some changes, I will have to find a laptop, log into my network, and get through all that hurdles, right? I don't have anything effectively on my mobile phones. So these actually, because the team is not so productive, these challenges actually just build up and they go back to the business, right? Because the business is now evolving, the business requirements keep evolving, but the tools are not. They need custom solutions to help them evolve. And the IT team is going to be the bottleneck because the IT team doesn't have the kind of staff, or they are not being able to keep up with the pace that the business is growing with, right? So instead of that, the teams go to a tool that is one size fit all, but then that is also not going to grow fast as per the customized solutions. So ask yourself this: what if we could build the apps in a better way without actually waiting for someone else to do it? What if these program managers, what if these financial advisors or HR or anyone who wants to have an app doesn't have to really wait for someone to create an app for them? Can they be made more independent? Can we empower them to actually create these apps on their workload based on their workflow that they want to define? And this is what the thought came in. And we've been talking to a lot of such customers across the world, right? And it's something that we all know that is happening in a true sense, right? And that's where Honeycode comes into place. Honeycode gives you it's a fully managed service. It gives you ability. We all understand these three-tier applications, right? There's a UI or a front end, there is a business logic, and then there is a database tier, right? So Honeycode helps you automate all these three tiers, and it helps these people who are not really developers, who are not really software engineers, to be able to create these beautiful apps, because now Honeycode automates everything for them, right? And that's in short, in layman terms, what Honeycode is, right? Before we actually get into Honeycode, what I wanted to talk to you about was the beta. Yes, Honeycode is in beta. It has been announced very recently. The beta is only focusing right now on business process management tools that are focused on teams. It doesn't really support public facing applications as of now. We never know, it may come back in the GA as well. I don't have any rates on the GA, but I'm sure the AWS team is working on improving this application, on improving the service itself, because we continuously keep getting these feature requests via the community who are building applications. Like, I've been playing with Honeycode for a while, and I've been giving a lot of feature requests. Hey, it would be nice to have this, or these are the things that could be made better, and how the experience can be made better for our end customers. So What is Honeycode's vision? It's definitely to empower these business users to build their applications to solve their team's productivity challenges, right? Now, when you don't have to work with a file, you have an app that you can give to your end customers, and they may not be really customers, but they will be your team members. You can keep everyone in loop because now you're giving them personalized experience. You can see data that is pertaining to you itself, right? You can give that kind of personalized experience, you can give that kind of access. You can now build the mobile and web app, so you can now push it through mobile as well. And it does a lot of automations, like a lot of these manual stuff that people going and entering into spreadsheets, now that can be automated as well using Honeycode. So we talked about few of these issues, right? So Honeycode today gives templates for some of these, some of these use cases. So you can just start using one of the templates and then customize it, or you can start from scratch. My demo that is coming forth is actually, on based on the time of reporting app. So we'll go to the demo and we'll see that. But before we get into demo, remember four things, right? There is tables, there is an app builder for building the application, there is an automation section, and there is teams. Okay, so let's look at these four quickly. The first is tables is where you collect your data, and they look very similar to spreadsheets, because remember we talked that a lot of customers, a lot of people are still using a lot of spreadsheets, right? So you don't want to have a higher learning curve for them. You want to keep it quite simple so that they can get started, right? So all these tables look like spreadsheets. You can then use tables to link them, like a relational database, right? So you can use that to tables to link them. So in this example, what is happening is there is a department table and there's a new request table, and you're just creating a link between the request and the department table. How do you get data in? You can either import a CSV, or you could just simply do copy paste, right? Or you can use the app to be a front end to actually input data inside these tables. Or you could also, if you're an advanced user, you could also use APIs to interact with Honeycode today. Then the second one is definitely the app builder. It's like a UI where you can have drag and drop to easily, put in a lot of contents. Like you want to add a form, you want to add a list, you want to add a button. You can just easily drag and drop and add and make the UI. You can also then link that UI to the data that you have in the tables, right? So you can easily do that in the app builder. The next one is automations. So let's say someone added some kind of a request. You want to send a notification to them. You can add automation for that. Or let's say someone added some data into one of the tables. You want to automatically populate some other tables based on this data. You want to do some formula, you want to do some average or something like that. Want to push it to other tables, you can do that using automation. So there's this simple trigger action. That's the simple funda of automations. The last one is definitely teams. So now when you can build these different teams, I have it in my example, so it will become more clearer there. But when you're building these teams, you could either have teams that will work on the workbook, that, hey, four of us are going to build this application. We are going to build or maintain this workbook or the application. And then there are a few people who are, let's say, individual contributors who will just get access for their data. Managers will get access to the reportees that they're working with, and the admin, or it could be the one we are working, or the HR could be an admin who is able to add in more data or look at the entire data to make sense of it, right? So there are different teams that you can create in it. And last but not the least, definitely you would create applications that would similarly look on web and mobile as well, right? And on mobile, actually, what Honeycode does is you download the Honeycode app from the App Store, and then you can log into Honeycode, and then you can access the applications that you have been assigned to. Okay, so these are not really apps that you can push to App Store. This is like Honeycode has the apps inside it. And the best part about Honeycode is the instant app update. Okay. And you will see this. I will show this in the demo, but you remember, we as developers, or we as people who are working with a lot of, the CI/CD part of it. Hey, I'm making this change. How do I push it to the environment? Go through the whole source, build, test, prod kind of a chain. Honeycode does that automatically. And this is important because today, if I'm a non-techie and I want to build an app, do I really have to go through that full cycle? Can you, once I make a change, can you not just push it through, right? But then there's an important point to note. Because of this feature, today Honeycode doesn't allow you to create these different environments, right? In a normal software environment, you would have, a UAT environment, you would have a staging environment, you would do load testing, and then you would go to prod, right? Generally speaking. But in this case, you only have prod. So what you would do is you would create apps in your workbook that would be for UAT. You would create changes in there, you would test it out, you would do your testing there. And once you seem fine, then you go ahead and apply those changes to your production environment, right? So let's go and see a Honeycode demo. If you have to create a Honeycode application, a tip, work backwards. Okay. So first figure out what you want from the application. What is it that you're trying to achieve from building this application, right? And then you go ahead and create that application in Honeycode. Okay. Don't go the other way around. Go from there, because then it will give you a bit much better idea of what you're trying to build and how you want to do a layout. So for my demo, what I'm doing here is just I'll show it in the what I'm going to do, but we'll see that. So first is you have a time of workbook, right? You have a workbook. I've created a workbook using the template. I've created tables. There are some tables that come with the template itself. I've added few tables of my own. I've used the app builder to actually create 3 different apps. Okay. And these 3 different apps are going to be used by 3 different kind of teams. So there is an employee onboarding that is used by HR. There's a time of for individual contributors or employees, and there's a time of manager for managers. Okay. So there are 3 different apps, and each app has its own different way of screens. Screens are nothing but like pages, click here, this, or whatever information you want to show. And there is also I can also share the workbook with admins. So I've shared it with one of my friends. I can show you someone has shared it with me. And lastly, you can create automations. uh, so what I'm going to show you is how you can add quickly, you can add a new employee, how a new employee can add in a request, and how a manager can actually approve or deny these requests, right? uh, all of these persona are not going to be different. It's going to be me. We are using SSO here to log into Honeycode. So I have to be myself to show you all these 3. But I'll show you these 3 different applications, and hopefully it makes it clear for you, right? So this is the Honeycode dashboard. Okay, this is the Honeycode dashboard. This is my drive. And you can see that I've created this time of reporting. I am the creator of this workbook, and which team am I part of. So there's a blueprint one this is an internal one. I'm not going to show you this, but I am the app owner of this one, app user of this one, and I'm owner of the other one. So I just wanted to show you the difference of how you get different accesses, right? And what I've done is, so let's go and look at the employee directory, right, from the HR and top down. So I'm seeing that, hey, right now I have 3 employees added into this example. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a new employee, right? So let's go and add a new employee. That would be, let's add Suman. Suman is one of my colleagues. He's also based out of India. And I'm going to say, hey, I'm Suman's manager. I'm not, but I'm just going to say I'm Suman's manager. I'm just going to add 10, 10, 10 to the data here. Okay. And I'm just going to say done. That's it. Suman has been added to one of the tables. We'll go and look at the tables, but Suman has been added as one of the employees. Now, let me showcase you something simple as to how me as a person can add in data into this, right? So this is my history as an employee. I've been playing around with Honeycode, right? So I've been added few things like, I've added few leaves, I've added leave types. A leave type is something that doesn't come with time of reporting. I've personalized it for myself. I'm just going to say new request, and I'm just going to say, hey, I need a sick leave because it's demo day. Okay, I'm just saying that. And you click on submit. Okay, and that's it. This has been added and it's in pending mode. Okay, let's quickly go to the manager and give it a second because it's going to pick up uh, pending or not. So it's automatically picked up that, hey, someone has added a request. You can also see I've sent a notification, right? So it gives a notification. Right now I'm off VPN. So I won't be able to show you that I get notifications, but I have screenshots. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, hey, approved. That's it. As a manager, I have just go to and say approved, right? And this is a sample of the notifications I got in my email, right? I've created these notifications. I'll show it to you, but this is a sample of the notifications I got in my email. So now let's go to Honeycode and see the different aspects of Honeycode itself, right? So if I have to share, I can just share it, share the entire workbook or share the app. I can rename, I can duplicate, I can recover. I'm just going to click on edit because I want to show you the workbook itself. Okay, so this is my workbook. So there are a few tables that come with the template itself. I've added few tables into this, and I can show you that, hey, Suman that we just now added is now actually added into the table itself, right? And some of the values are actually not from what I input, are actually created. I have the whole formulas to actually get these values populated, right? So I've added these leaves. You can also see that my recent one is actually added, right? And it has been approved. So this is the one we worked with today. So let's go to App Builder. I clicked on App Builder. See, you see three apps. So we'll go to employee directory. Let me see. So this is how, okay, let's go to manager. I want to add a sample screen there. Hopefully I have enough time, but this is a sample app builder, right? If you see, there is mobile, there is web. Okay, right now both are linked. So what it means is if I have to add an object, I just go here. Let's say I'm adding a new screen itself. Okay, I'm adding a new screen. I've added a new page, and I'm going to say, hey, I want to see my reportees. Okay, I've just added this. You can notice there is a small saving changes kind of an option comes here. If I go to time of manager, I've already seen the reportees page. Right now, there's no content on the reportees page because I've just added it, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and add objects, and I'm going to say I want to add a list, and it's going to come from people. Okay, and I don't want all these details. I'm just want to say that I want to see people and do that. If I have to also do it in an easier way, I can also, like, there is a proper plus channel also as well. But I've just added that list. Now let's go and see time of manager. And let's give it a second. That's it. It's actually picked up data from that table and it's now showcasing it. But now what is happening is I don't have a personalized view. I'm not a manager for Mary Major, right? But I'm still able to see that. So if as an admin, I want to stop doing that, I just go here, say show only app specific data. And I say, if I'm the manager, I just want to see my reportees. And instantly the entire row set is gone. So if you see how instantly, if you make any changes into the screen, into how the app should look like, it is going to instantly go ahead and showcase that, right? So that's how, sorry, my mouse is now acting weird. Let me do this. Okay, it's back. So that's how you add these simple screens. And if you notice, I just added in mobile, right? The web automatically got updated. I can unlink it. I can do more. You can also change the way this looks. You can change a lot of things. You can add in a lot of, formula here. So right now the formula is coming from a manager table, but you can add a lot of formula. You can add a lot of actions if you need. For example, if you see the pending request, right? I actually click on the approve button. You go ahead and see, you can add in a lot of automations there as to what happens when someone clicks approve, where does it go? And it's quite simple, actually. It just takes few minutes, few hours to build this. I'll just quickly show you. The last thing is definitely new employee added or new leave request. Let's go and see new leave request. And what I'm saying is when a new row is added to the time of table, just go ahead and notify the person who has added the leave, right? And here, if you see, this is not really my name. I've added a formula that whoever's the approver, send them a request that, hey, new leave request is added. You need to go ahead and approve this. Okay. So as simple as that. There are a few notifications that it sends, and that's it. That's what simple Honeycode is. Okay. So let's go back to our presentation because I'm up almost up my time. Honeycode pricing, yes, I'm sure many of you are asking about this. Honeycode for 20 users, it's free today. If you want to do more than 20 users, you have to purchase the Plus and Pro plans. If you don't have an AWS account, you can still play with Honeycode on the basic tier. But if you're going to go with Plus and Pro, you have to get an AWS account. Another point, and I'm telling you this because I had to dig in a lot to get these answers, right? If you need API access to Honeycode, you have to use the Plus and Pro account. It's not available in the basic plan itself. Okay. Then finally, how can you get more help? There's a lot of help available in the community. I keep looking at the community and there's a lot of discussions happening in the community itself. So there are getting started guides, there are courses that you can access and learn more about Honeycode. You can also sign up for the announcements. There's a community discussions place. It's like how you get support, right? You can get support from community discussions. If you want to add more feature requests, you can definitely do that using the feature request. Just go to honeycodecommunity.aws and you can find more information. In the Knowledge Center, I purposely wanted to go deeper into the Knowledge Center because there's a lot of things that you can find in the Knowledge Center, right? A lot of questions. Like for me, who comes from a techie background, for me to work with Honeycode, it takes a bit of a mind change because I'm not a spreadsheet genie, right? I'm not a spreadsheet genius. So for me, it took a bit of a while to understand the formula and stuff like that. But I think it's much easier if you have been working with spreadsheets or you have been just building simple applications. It's much easier. I've built the entire thing in less than an hour or so. So that has been a lot of fun. So that's me. I hope it has given some of you some idea about, that you can build these applications. You can build you can build applications easily. Even if you're a coder, you want to build something quickly for your team's productivity, go ahead, explore Honeycode. Reach out to me via Twitter, LinkedIn if you have any more comments or you want to discuss anything. And I think I'm up my time. I'm just going to check if I have time for question answers. Do I have time for Q&A? Let me just check that because I don't want to take 1 minute. Okay, so let me quickly look at this. Okay, beta version. Okay, so I have all okay, so there's a question. Good morning. You said Honeycode is in beta version, so where can we find the resources to learn about it? As I mentioned, just go to the Honeycode website and you should be able to find the resources for that. Okay, so can you please let me know? Okay. For anything other than Honeycode, let's connect in the networking section. I'll be there all day, so I'll definitely answer a lot of your questions there. A lot of yeah, someone asked me, there are a lot of these applications in the market where you can upload data somewhere and you can sync it between different people. If you're not purchasing these specifically for your organization, and it's just easy for someone to upload it somewhere and give access to someone outside of your organization, then it is going to be a security risk. If that is not an issue, then you can definitely use the tools that are available in market. But a lot of companies who have security compliance kind of restrictions on how the data, where the data needs to go outside of who has access to it, I think building a custom solution would definitely help. Like internally as well, we have started using Honeycode. We used to have a lot of different products, like the one I showed you, right? That is something that we are building as a blueprint, and hopefully that will get adapted over the time. Is Honeycode free? Honeycode is the 20 user limit is free. There is pricing. I've definitely showed you that. Yeah, I think I'm okay. I'm done with my time. So thank you for your time. Definitely, if you have more questions, reach out to me in the networking section during lunchtime, maybe, and we can talk a little bit more deeper on this. Thank you so much.